All right. We're getting back at this again. So last time we played through the first mission here of the legendary campaign of the Final Shape. And now we're going to go through the second mission. I know, it's like 2 comes after 1, or 1 comes after... You know, words are hard. Anyway, we're playing through on the Warlock, and we're trying to figure out how to play this class again, because I haven't touched it in years. You might see that my light level here in just a second is a bit higher than it should be for someone who hasn't played their class in years. And that, my friends, is because I play other classes, and I've said it before. I really enjoy Hunter. I picked it up a couple years ago. I think it was years. Whenever Duality was the thing, I picked it up. Me and some buddies over at Amper Sandbox, where you can find me playing D&D pretty regularly. Amper Sandbox TTRPG. We were playing through Destiny pretty regularly for a little bit there, and the DM, Josh, played Warlock, and my buddy Alex, he played Titan, so naturally, instead of doubling up on a class, which you can definitely do, I thought it'd be more entertaining to play Hunter, so I played my Hunter for a hot minute, and that's just kind of, it stuck. I enjoy the mobility of the class, and a lot of the abilities in it are just kind of fun to, you know, punch stuff, dodge, punch stuff, dodge. It's simple, you know? Gosh, I dabble in art myself, nowhere near the level of this stuff personally, but man, I can't even imagine what it was like for these, for the art team when the art director was like, so take everything we've made, turn it up to 11, and then shake it up a little bit. Because this was a ton of fun. I mean, look at this. Just the blend of like geometry and organism here. I mean, and organic features here. It's just so good. And then just these spots of like the giant ghosts and everything. It's just so neat. Anyway, let's go over here. I'm going to check my mailbox really quick, and then we'll get this started. For anyone who has played through this, you'll notice that normally there's a conversation that's had here. If you saw my first episode, which, go back and watch it. I think it was a good time. If you saw the first episode, you will know I played through that first mission 3 times, recording things differently each time, just to see how I like to do this whole playing a game and recording it situation. So, normally, you would be, I believe, you'd start down here next to where the flag is, and Cade would be standing up there. You go up here, you talk to Cade, you have a little banter back and forth, and the ghost gives you the, you know, rundown of what's going on. The ghost would, you know, he floats right here. Then you would come down here and be like, hey, I want to start the campaign. Let's do this. So we're going to do it. Let's just look at our build real quick. Just make sure there's nothing we want to change here. And Warlock main's out there. Let me know if there's anything I should be changing up in here as I go through this. I mean, I'm always down for some tips on how to build my class that I don't know how to play properly.
Just like the good old days. Now, last transmission I got from Crow was just before you showed up.
You said he and Glint were scouting ahead.
Right. He called in some sort of anomaly, said he'd sniff around the perimeter. Personally, I prefer a little more direct approach.
Eagle.
Ever tell you about the Hunter Vanguard before me? His name was Andal Brask. He was my mentor. Great shot. Terrible gambler. Still, we had this friendly little wager about what was inside the Traveler. I told him there's nothing. So of course Andal says, well then I'm betting on everything. Everything. Lucky guess. The inside is a composite of the outside. You're gonna see some things you recognize, and some things you don't. Treat it all as real. Unless it ain't. But I can guarantee you the Shadow Legion up ahead are as real as they come.
So, fun fact here that I realized that maybe some other people haven't realized yet is that even though you're not hurting them, right? You see, like, looking around here, we can find our little prismatic well of energy, and we could go run onto it. You know, we can do a little run around here and look. Oh, there's our prismatic well. The thing that last time I called a crystal butthole. Yeah, so it's right there, and you can fill up your bar, right? Or you can just shoot them a few times if you don't mind wasting a little bit of ammo. And once you do that, it'll fill up your bar just as well. So if you're ever in a situation that you don't have a well, in the campaign, you will nearly always have one. But if you're ever in a situation where you don't, just go ahead and keep firing at the prismatic enemies. You will build up your transcendent energy just as fast. I mean, not as fast as a well, but you know what I mean. You guys are smart, I'm sure. Other thing that I realized recently, so I have been playing Destiny for a hot minute. I think I said last time that it had been a couple years. I played through the Lightfall campaign and all that good stuff, right? However, I'm a doofus here, and I never paid attention to the way you're supposed to actually fight the tormentors. For me, I just did whatever killed them. I didn't realize that you can actually shoot their shoulder pads off for crits, and you can shoot their chest piece off, or not chest piece, but you can shoot their chest for crits, and like, I always thought it was shoot them in the head because, video game logic. But that's not always true here. Bungie likes to throw you for a little loop. So for these guys, shoot them in the chest, shoot them in the shoulders, get those crits, and when they get that little ball above their head, go in and finish them off. It just makes the whole combat faster. So take some advice from your friendly neighborhood noob. Oh, and now I can kind of show you guys what I mean. So look at my bar down there. Maybe I'll make it bigger. When you shoot them, see, it's still filling up. So you don't have to have a well. And if you're using anything kinetic or anything like that, it will fill up both bars. Do remember to use your transcendent ability when you are fighting these guys, though, unlike what I just did. Because if not, you'll just, you'll just be basically poking them with wet spaghetti noodles.
The bird from our vision. That can't be a coincidence. Let's follow it.
I feel like there is a better... I really like my edge transit roll that I got here with Envious Assassin and destabilizing rounds, but there's a combat coming up here in just a little bit that I always am awful at, and I feel like I remember machine guns doing really well in it, so I'm wondering... I can't remember, as it's been a hot minute, if I have a good roll of a retrograde. Retrofit? Anyway, Void machine gun from Lightfall era. I can't remember. I think it was Lightfall era. Anyway, I can't remember if I have a good roll of it or not. I have a roll. I can't remember if it was a good one or not. So, we're going to check really quick. Here's a fun fact. So, we're just get ourselves somewhere safe real quick. Let's go up here. Right? We're going to stand over here.
Stay where you are. We'll find a way through.
So, what we're going to do, a little fun fact, is if you go to your map, and you just pick any activity, you can check your vault. I know a lot of people know this already, but I found that out recently. I've been using dim, not for optimization like I should, but to just go to my vault and pull stuff. And sometimes that's a good way to do it. Sometimes it's faster to do it this way. So let's go over to our heavies. And we are over here. I need to clean my vault out. What's this roll? Field prep, target lock. Okay, so guys, here's where you guys can help me out a ton. I am awful. It's called Retrofit Escapade. I'm awful at being in a loop on like what the right roll for guns is. I feel like I should know, but I'm just, I'm not that player. I wish I was. I know like this is a decent roll for a strand build. I was using that for a hot minute. But I can't remember. Zen moment. Causing damage with this weapon reduces recoil and flinch over time. Golden tricorn. Final blows with this weapon grant bonus damage while its buff is active. Grenade or melee kills of the same damage type greatly increases damage duration. I like that, but I'm not a good enough player to actually capitalize on that situation. You know what I mean? And a lot of times when I'm using my heavy, I'm using it on a boss. So I don't necessarily want to hold off on getting more damage if it's based off of final blows, because a lot of times in Destiny you'll get a ton of ads and then all of a sudden nothing, and you're just stuck there with the boss until the next situation comes around, next phase. This one, field prep, increases ammo reserves, faster reload, stow, and ready when you're crouching, and then target lock. I think that this is a good roll, especially because it's a machine gun. I've got it masterworked for some reason, so I think it's a good roll, but I just don't know. So if you can in the comments below, just let me know, like, is this a good roll? Should I be using it more often? I mean, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it if I've got a module here. Which I don't know if I do, but if I do, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade it and pull it out, and we'll play around with it here and there, but let me know if that's an actual good roll or not. Okay, let's do a quick swap here. I just want to try it out. Yep, still got a good light level there for this, which I know that in the campaign your light level's pretty much you're dropped down, but it just, the number's bigger. It makes me feel good about myself. So, I'm still going to pay attention to it a little bit. Go ahead and reload. See, like, that's a pretty good reload time. And, like, just demolished that thing. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not the greatest at aiming, which, that's how you actually get the benefit of that perk. But, it makes me feel good to use it, so.
us and Crow.
Aid? Any ideas?
Oh, I was never good at puzzles. It was always more Ikora's thing.
Cool, so you see this whole situation here. So psionic insight required. I bet you can guess where you get that from. Boom. Boom. All you gotta do is pop them. So, then you just need to clockwise turn this, and whichever way you put it in, that will rotate the dial.
I think those taken signs might share a connection with that dial. That's it! Do you see any other dials in the area?
Affirmative. The Guardian will handle it.
So however many psionic charges you have is how many times that will turn based on which way you decided to click. So if you have 3 psionic charges and you turn it clockwise, it will turn clockwise 3 times. Pretty basic, right guys? Yeah, I didn't know that. It took me so long to figure that out. I do gotta say, this thing just ripped through them. Or through that guy. That subjugator. Subjugator? Whatever it is. It ripped through it. So, we need to do 1, 2, 3 psionic essence. Or charges, whatever they're called. Where are my scions? Here we go. We're gonna go counterclockwise. One more. Alright, so you see what just happened there. I killed both of them. It makes sense. I'm using, you know, Graviton Lance. But now I have 2 charges. That is going to push me over. And if I get pushed over, it's not going to unlock. So, we're going to switch just for a second to a different gun. There we go. Perfect. There we go. And, whoa, look at that. But, oh no, there's another one. Yep, that's going to happen. It's part of the learning the puzzles, learning how to do this stuff that Bungie's doing to us here. So we've turned it counterclockwise, and now we gotta turn it clockwise. How many do we need? We need 2. So let's go ahead and take that one. And there we go. If you're fast enough, you can pick up those other scions for their psionic essence. I've done it once on one playthrough, and it was not fast enough this time. Alright, where are my scions? Go. Cool, now where are my scions at? There they are. Boom. Boom. And I need one more. Let's take you. There we go. Oh, picked up too many. But you know what? We're going to get close to it. So we'll go ahead and use the too many. And then let's just swap. We'll swap to this guy for a second. A little hand cannon action. Oh gosh, why can't I remember my turns? Counterclockwise. There we go. Remember how clocks work. Perfect. Let's go counterclockwise again. Oh, I didn't get the 2 like I thought I did. There we go. Bring it home. Look at that. We got 1 more to go. 1, 2, 3. Right. I can't remember. Is that? Yes. So I need 1, 2, 3. There they are. Gosh, just such a satisfying, like, gun to play. Like, they just really know how to make something that just sounds good. You know, just boom.
Cade, what do you make of that bird that led us to Glint?
Well, it seems pretty obvious to me. I think it's pretty obvious to you, too. The real mystery is why nobody wants to say it out loud.
I will. A traveler. It's helping us.
All right. Here's where, if I remember right, a machine gun is really good for this boss. But again, depends on your playstyle. So let's just go through it. Let's see. So if I'm remembering properly, the biggest thing is that they're the taken orb, like little orb room things, where you gotta shoot the orbs to get the get it to stop hurting you, and so you can actually shoot through the walls. This will make sense. I'm not good at explaining mechanics. It'll make sense when you guys see it. Alright, look at this. Yeah, so these orbs. So obviously, if I shoot these orbs right now, nothing happens. However, once they're out of the orbs, or if I'm in the orb, something will happen. So, something that helps you out, come through here and just, maybe not with your machine gun like I just did, but just blast the orb real quick, get rid of it. It'll help you be able to get your damage phases. Something else you can do is just pop in, super. Do this guy, and then let's just blast him.
I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
shoot the wall, because that's gonna help. There we go, guys. Look at that. I'll let you know, every time I played this is the thing with warlocks, is you can do a ton of damage and you have a pretty good amount of survivability, just in general. Just from your class being tied to recovery, and from your class ability having stuff like Phoenix Dive, where you heal yourself up. Boom, I'm healed. You have a pretty good amount of survivability. So every other time I've done this, it has taken me at least 3 or 4 tries to do it. And maybe I'm just getting better at the game. Who knows? But I don't think that's it. I think that, honestly, Warlock is just a really good survivable class. And I think that if you're new to the game, I honestly would recommend playing Warlock. I mean, Hunter, turn your brain off, play kind of style, in certain circumstances, like the dodge punch strat. But Warlock, I mean, for a lot of the stuff, like, it's hard to take down a Warlock. I mean, I even struggle against it in stuff like the Crucible, because it's just, they hit so hard when they do hit, So give it a shot. I think that so far I'm having a pretty good time. Hey everyone, it is Jivey from the future, and I'd like to start this out with reminding you to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It really helps me out in the algorithm, and it helps me to know that you guys want to keep seeing more of this. So this is going to be mostly gameplay here, and not a lot of me talking here on out. I might jump in here and there just to explain a few things you see on screen, but I actually stepped away from Destiny for a few days, and then came back to record this bit of gameplay and just totally forgot to record my voice over top of it. I was definitely talking into the microphone, but just didn't hit record. So next little bit here, maybe 20-ish minutes, is going to be, maybe a little less than that. It's going to be gameplay here. I'll pop in and out, explain a few things here and there, but otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, wasn't that exciting? Nothing like dying twice to the same encounter, but you know, third time's the charm, right? But we finally got them down, so let's see what we got here. So it looks like a prismatic reward. So here, in the original, I opened this screen up to show you guys what fragments were. And I also explained what you might get in one of these boxes. You might get a fragment out of it. You might get a super out of it. There's a few other things you can get out of these boxes throughout the campaign. So here we got Incinerator Snap and Storm Grenade. The fantastic part about this is that now we can really utilize that Getaway Artist Bleak Watcher build. There's still one aspect missing, Helion, and that's what I was looking at there. And then just kind of diving in here, just looking at a few of the other things. But Helion's the one I'm still missing. I'm hoping to get that here soon so we can really utilize the build. But Storm Grenade is needed because with Getaway Artist, when you absorb, I think is the word I want to use. Yeah, when you absorb your Storm Grenade, you become amplified, and you get a little buddy that shoots little arc bolts out at all your enemies and does a ton of damage. Like, seriously, I have been being wrecked in the Crucible over this build. And then also, when you consume your grenade, you drop a Bleak Watcher turret. So you get 2 buddies, which is also a ton of fun because they do a ton of damage and absolutely just destroy folks. Here, I got my priorities straight. I was taking a look at some of my outfits, some of my cosplay, if you will, playing the real dress-up simulator portion of the RPG part of Destiny. And now we're back at it. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the gameplay volume back up and let this just run because there's actually some cool little RP and stuff that happens here. So just sit back and continue to relax, have a good time, and I'll be back here in a little bit.
This must be it. That's right. This feels cancerous. Like a blight. But it's different somehow. What is this? I did it. I fought it off. Shut it out.
No matter. Our voice will suffice.
You see here, I waited around for a little bit. I thought there was more dialogue here, but I guess there's not. So I kind of stood around, looked at the statues a bit, the diorama, just kind of waited. And then once I realized that I was wrong, I moved on to the next part here. I'm going to be real honest. I don't know what I was doing here either. I was looking at the faces. I think there was something that I might have said, like, does anyone know, like, how they came up with the model for these faces? I do know I used to think it was Zavala's face, at first. But I'm, since then, no longer thinking that. But still, kind of curious, this whole situation here, right? But I couldn't explain to you why I stood here for so long looking at these faces. You would think that at some point I'd be like, oh, hey, it's time to go.
This belief was taught, conditioned into you. It can be unlearned.
There. Up ahead. Crow. Crow?
Quiet. Listen. I've seen these veiled statues before. You have too. It's whispering something, but I can't quite make it out. Stop listening to it! I told you to wait outside. This place is... I don't know what kind of effect it's going to have on you.
He's right, Clint.
I don't care. He doesn't get to make those decisions for me. We're supposed to be a team. Guardian and Ghost. That's how the Traveler made us. I'm sorry. Don't ever leave me behind again. Promise. I promise.
Let's set up camp outside. Kate's not far.
Of course he isn't. Tell me you got the drop on him at least.
You and the Guardian both need better boots.
Well, maybe I'll get lucky this time.
Alrighty, I mean, that's really it for this mission as a whole. There's a little campfire scene that happens next that I'm gonna let play out, and then I'll be right back afterwards.
It's hard to describe. It's like these pockets of darkness are physical manifestations of the witness's presence here. An infection, festering.
You said it spoke to you.
In the dark, tempting me. The witness knows what's in our hearts and minds. It promises to make it all real as part of the final shape. Listen, whatever the witness is doing to the Traveler, our ghosts can feel it too. And it's spreading. Ikora would know what to do.
Don't worry, kid. We'll find her. Even if we have to blast our way through.
I don't think it's that simple.
Sometimes it can be. Let's just get our bearings again. Refocus.
Agreed.
What a relief to see Crow and Clint again. That cave we found him in, where the witness tried to possess me. A malignant place like that inside the Traveler feels blasphemous. That wasn't just darkness. It was reshaped by the witness. Corrupted. No wonder it could project itself there. At least out here, the Traveler's light still protects us. As much as it can, anyway. My shell? Don't worry. It's not as bad as it looks. The witness barely left a crack. We take hits and we get back up again. Right, Guardian? Listen, the others spotted a location nearby that resembles the Io crater. Sounds like something that would be of interest to a warlock we know.
Alrighty. The witness's presence inside the Traveler has manifested as psychic wounds, spreading physical corruption through its pale heart. These concentrations of darkness are dangerous. Ghost claims that the damage he took while fighting the witness's possession is superficial, but you recognize when he's lying. Both he and the Traveler are very hurt, and things are only going to get worse if you don't find a way to stop the witness. The Vanguard Warlock Ikora will know what to do. You must find her. So we got a little broadcast to listen to, and then I think that we're going to get this all closed out. So let's go ahead and listen to that, and then we'll get out of here.
That's the helm signal. Mara, we can barely hear you. I'll try to boost the connection.
Crow? Does this reach you?
She can't hear us. I'll keep trying to clean up the signal.
The portal remains unstable, and your enemy has barred the way behind you. The abominations you encountered are of the Witness's making. This is but a fraction of the power it now wields. Using stolen light, it has created a new army in opposition to the one the Traveler raised. Stewards of the final shape. No matter. The Coalition convenes to devise a method of dispelling the Witness's interference. Keitel and Mistраx have promising theories. Once this desperate attempt to slow us is left broken, we will rejoin the attack. Let my voice send you now, in flight to strike down the Witness and all its followers. Go with hope and with vengeance.
That is going to wrap up episode 2 of our Final Shape Legendary run through on the Warlock. I'm having a ton of fun getting to play this class again and getting to learn the ins and outs, and I'm really excited to get into episode 3, where I actually get to start using this Bleak Watcher turret build here. And like always, if you've got any advice on the builds for Warlocks that you'd like to throw my way, if you'd like to see me do things a little different, maybe try out one of your guys' builds, I'd be more than happy to do that as long as I've got the gear for it or the unlocks for it to get at least close to it. So if you do want that, just drop a Mobalytics link in the comments below or a dim link. Either one, and I'll get it done, and we'll try it out in an episode here. It could lead to some fun encounters. And last but not least, my guys, gals, and non-binary pals, if you don't mind liking, subscribing, and smashing that bell into oblivion, it would be greatly appreciated, as it gives the algorithm all those warm and fuzzy feelings that then pushes my content out there, and then we can start building an even bigger community than we already have. All right, everyone, be good to each other. And remember, always have fun.